I apologise if the sound is bad. I've got my hand over the microphone because my left hand is cramping where I sprained it the other week. So yeah, I got my new fleece from work, from the girls section of the uniform, because yes, they still have a gendered uniform, even though you wouldn't think it for looking at it, you know. And it's the difference in between gender affirming clothing at the end of the day and gender stereotypical clothing for me, anyway, because I'm not quite ready to wear gender stereotypical clothing, whereas gender affirming clothing, just because it happens to come from the ladies section, that makes a world of difference to me. You know, the fact that it now fits as well, other than the sleeve length. I mean, look at that. You know, I mean, half the time my sleeves are pulled up anyway. But yeah, so just the difference it's made in my mental health. And again, I've been wearing, from like the waist up, I've been in girls' uniform for a couple of years now. But the fact that it now fits properly, because I've lost so much weight. You know, when I first came out and first got girls' uniform, I was a lot larger, you know, especially around the belly. So I was cautious on the sizing, you know, just so that there would be room for me. And now I've lost, you know, like 20 pounds or something. You know, I can finally start tailoring it to my shape a little more. And you know, it's been an interesting time trying to get the size in right and realising just how much I've shrunk by, you know, which, for lack of a phrase, that's the only thing that has happened. I've shrunk. So yeah, it's been interesting. And as I say, the idea of gender stereotypical, like stereotypical even, I'm not ready for yet. You know, I mean, not only have I got to be comfortable with how things look on me, I've got to be comfortable with how they fit, and to a degree I've also got to dress for my age. You know, I mean, I'm going to be 43 this year, which isn't much in the grand scheme of things, but at the same time, I can't dress like a teenage girl, can I? I mean, yes, my endocrine system might be screaming that I'm like 13, 14, but you know, I've still got the body of a 42-year-old, so I've got to be wary in that respect. But that's a while away yet, you know. I mean, whereas gender affirming clothing, which basically means it comes from the ladies section in my case, you know, I mean, there isn't that much difference in the grand scheme of it. You know, you could put this uniform on a male body or a female body, and it would look very similar, you know. I mean, the differences between the boys' uniform and the girls' uniform is extremely subtle. But it's the fact that it comes from the ladies section, which is what makes it affirming for me, you know. I mean, the fact that the day that my fleece turned up, I ended up wearing a padded bra that day. And because it was the new fleece was a lot slimmer, it was like, yeah, there's no hiding that those exist anymore. So yeah, it was, you know, the idea of being seen as who I am, rather than any specific jolly you may or may not get from wearing clothing of the opposite sex, but the fact that I could be seen as me, and unashamedly me, you know, in the case of wearing a padded bra that day, you know, it was like, yeah, there's no hiding those. So I could still stomp around in my steel toes and growl at people, but, you know, I had boobs that day, and it was very noticeable, and that sort of elevated my mood slightly, you know. And it's weird that a simple piece of fabric could have that effect, you know. So it annoys me when you see the arguments against trans kids, and, you know, affirming trans kids, and literally all it is, you know, letting them wear different clothes, and if it makes them feel better, then that's great. I mean, I'm 42, and it had a profound mental effect on me, just because it came from the ladies section, and it was just a fleece. You know, I wasn't suddenly in a sundress and a ridiculous, you know, whatever. It was literally just a uniform. But because it came from the ladies section, my mental health improved drastically that day. Yes, the weather's been a bit ropey since, and I've got my second COVID jab tomorrow, which I'm not looking forward to, because the last one kicked my ass. But yeah, it's just the idea that affirming somebody's gender through clothing is somehow harmful, and it's like, that makes no sense. I mean, especially given how I usually dress. You know, jeans and a hoodie, basically, or jeans and a t-shirt, but now it's coming, the jeans and a t-shirt from the ladies section. You know, I mean, again, because of the style and the cut and how I overall present at the moment, you wouldn't know that it was from the ladies section unless you looked at the labels. You know, so the idea that it's wrong somehow to affirm somebody's presentation through gendered clothing, it annoys me, to be honest, especially in regards to kids. You know, because at the end of the day, social transition is all that kids do. You know, they're not... It's been debunked time and again, all the various arguments that people use against trans kids. I'm not going to go into it because I can't be bothered. But at the end of the day, all it is social transition. They grow their hair out, they wear different clothes, and they get called a different name. And for that to be wrong... I wasn't going to go on that one. But yeah, no, and it sort of links into the whole idea of gender euphoria again. I mean, the fact that I was able to be seen as myself. You know, I mean, it does, in my case anyway, it affects how I carry myself. It affects my mannerisms. It affects my voice slightly. You know, it's like when I was wearing, last year when I was wearing my wig at work, people commented that I seemed like a different person. And it wasn't the fact that I was a different person, it was just that I was finally being seen as me. You know, so a small thing like a fleece, it's great for your mental health. I mean, you know, yeah, you could go down, when you, whatever age you might need to be, you can go down the hormone route and the medical route and things of that nature, but just a simple piece of fabric can make a world of difference, you know, to somebody's mental health. You know, it's, I mean, at the moment with the way the world is, we've still got plague, and we've got wars going on everywhere, and you know, the world is basically against trans people. But one piece of fucking clothing can make somebody feel so much better, and for that to be viewed as wrong is just ridiculous, in my view. You know, and I've got the shakes on my hand. I can't hold it with my left hand because I've sprained my wrist, but I can't hold it with my right hand because it's got the shakes, because I need to buy a tripod. But yeah, I wasn't going to go off on that one. But no, suffice to say that I'm continuing the theme of having a good 2021. As I say, it's a slow thing, and I'm slowly learning how to do stuff, you know, like, you know, slightly coming to terms with the fact that my body shape has changed, and I can now wear clothing that fits a bit better, you know, and it's just coming to terms with that for me. I mean, ignore the last 3 or 4 minutes of waffle, or rant, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, I think I'm hopeful that this is the year, that 2021 is the year that I do legally change my name. I've been putting it off just because of my housing situation, my home situation, because it would make it a little awkward, but I'm taking steps to sort of make my name more aware in the old man's head, because I'm not out to him, not directly, I've not said the words, but it's about time that I stopped pretending. I'm getting a bit tired of living the double life, because when I'm at work and when I'm out with friends, I'm Holly, and then when I go home, I'm him. You know, and it annoys me, and it means that there are things that I can't do, that I want to do. So I'm hopeful that I'm taking some very subtle steps, and I'm hopeful that this is the year that I legally change my name. Or move out, or both, I don't know. Yeah. Anyway, sorry about the rant in the middle there, guys. Take what you will from it, but Yeah. Right. See you later.